Alright, what's happening, y'all? Now, I gotta give a shout out to the brother Dream Chasing Boxing, man. Now, I know we talked about this, brother. You did advise me not to be addressing any of these clowns anymore. But there is a reason why I'm doing this on purpose, okay? Because you know the bitch that I'm referring to, he's getting a little irate that I'm going back and forth with him, and that I'm harassing him, and he's complaining that I won't leave him alone. So I'll explain to you why I'm doing what I'm doing after while I'm in this response video after I finish responding to him, okay? Because he made another stupid ass video back to back to back to back, okay? He even went after the brother K Black's boxing, given the fact that he has over 20 subscribers, which is kind of stupid for him to do that because he's got over 800 subscribers, and yet he's got over 1,200 videos. So he's got more subscribers than fucking videos. Goes to show that he has a lot of time in his hands, and we all know why he does what he does. But anyways, this idiot now made a video called Collective View. I haven't retracted anything. Well, he actually did retract something when he made a video response, I guess, was to Fight Critic. You didn't mention anything about Miguel Marriaga. Instead of trying to downplay Indongo, you brought up Victor Postal. Okay, so you go from Manuel Marriaga to Victor Postal, right? Saying that Victor Postal is a better fighter than Julius Indongo. Well, now as far as resume standpoint, that is a bit of a debate. As far as technicality and ability, no. Victor Postal does not have better ability than Julius Indongo. Indongo is a much better boxer than Victor Postal. Okay, so you switch from those two guys, and you didn't mention anything about Marriaga. You didn't even respond to me, given the fact that I put out that lengthy video where I broke down everything about Marriaga's career. And now you're going to talk about, oh, you didn't break it down. So, I mean, it's stupid. It's a stupid debate because, I mean, a 10-year-old can actually understand the simple logic. How can you say a guy is a better fighter, although he has no title wins, he hasn't won any titles, he hasn't beaten any top 10 fighters, opposed to a guy who actually has title wins. He's a unified world champion. He's 2-0 in title fights. He has beaten top 10 fighters, so it's a no-brainer. And he has an Olympic pedigree. He has a great amateur background, opposed to the other guy who had a decent amateur background, but he doesn't have any Olympic pedigree. So it's a no-brainer. So I don't understand why this guy, a 50-year-old man who has so much time in his hands, will constantly drink. So that's probably why his head's so fucked up, because the brain cells are depleting. So I don't understand why he can't understand this simple logic, because you have a few of his dedicated or support, he has all his I say dedicated. He has faithful commenters who are telling him that you cannot compare the two, given the fact that one guy has achieved more than the other guy, which is Indongo. He's achieved more than Marriaga. How can you say that Marriaga is a better fighter? Well, he hasn't done anything. It's just stupid shit. But yeah, it's very good though. He claims that he's won the argument over me, even though I've addressed every single point that he has made, and he has refused to answer some of my questions. Okay? So he's not getting away with it until he answers the yes or no questions. All right, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So let me play this video. What the fuck this idiot's got to say now? All right. All right, let me get this up. Hold on. No wonder. Okay. Liar. You didn't block me. I blocked you, you stupid fuck. So stop lying to people. Okay? So let's continue.
Apparently watch my videos. Keeps fucking mentioning me in his videos.
Oh, it's funny though. I keep watching your videos. There's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because let's see. You watch our videos even though you've been blocked by my channel, or whether you block some people. Okay, fine. Whoever you block, that's your prerogative. But yet you still go ahead and troll their channels. You leave comments where they can't see them, where they can't respond, and then you put out idiotic responses to them. So that's very odd, a very, very odd and quizzical behavior from a 50-year-old man who has an obsession for young African American males. Now, that's something that needs to be looked at. And my advice to you is that you really need help. You need to talk to somebody to get rid of this obsession that you have towards young African American males. So I don't know what it is. Maybe there's something in the past that you had to get. May not want to go there, but it is very odd behavior. So let's go ahead and continue here.
Right? No, I haven't retracted. I haven't changed any statement that I
Yes, you
made.
have.
My original statement
I
was
did.
that Marriaga is a better fighter than Indongo.
No, he's not.
Ta-da! You still haven't proven that incorrect.
Yes, I did, stupid. See, I did make a video called Round 3. All right, I put out a detailed breakdown, as I initially stated in this video, where I've laid out both men's careers with ease. It doesn't even come close to what Indongo has done. Marriaga has long ways to go to do what Indongo has done. And it's not my fault that you lack that understanding. So it's like I said, a 10-year-old can actually understand this much better than a 50-year-old man. I mean, that's as far as I can go, but I will address something else at the end of this video. So I do have a proposition for you, but let's continue. You dumb fuck.
Even though you went on many tangents and everything else, fucking here and there, and then when you went on tangents, I showed how the collective you.
So you're trying to loop in something that I didn't say to another group of people that I associate myself with. So this is what you're going with this video. You're not clever. Like you never could be clever in debates that we've had, okay? So you're never cerebral, you don't have strong points, so I'm going to go ahead and debunk everything you said in this video.
Because you...
Uh-oh, what just happened? Come on, what's going on? Whoa, what just happened here? Oops, hold on. Forgive me, y'all. Technical difficulties again with this fucking laptop. Why did this video just stop? Oh, by the way, that was very clever that you put up that race-baited thumbnail of Rick James. Or actually, that's Dave Chappelle with the Rick James persona. As I was saying, as soon as I get this thing taken care of on my laptop, I just want to say that... There we go. Uh-oh. Hold on.
Lomachenko to fight Rigo. Contradicting yourselves.
No, I'm not. First of all, why don't you want to see that fight? Because it seems like every time someone brings up the Lomachenko or a Rigondeaux potential clash between those two, you cringe all the damn time, and I wonder why you do that. Perhaps it's given the fact that Rigondeaux ruined the career of a guy who was going to be the next Manny Pacquiao and Nonito Donaire. And you're so pissed off to the fact that Rigondeaux embarrassed and humiliated him and broke his eye socket to the point that that Donaire has never been the same fighter after that. And since then, you've held a personal grudge against Rigondeaux. You've been hell-bent to try to tarnish him and slander him whenever you got a chance to talk down on him, and made him the reason why that most of the fights that he couldn't get made is all because of him. So you've been hell-bent to try to ruin this man's career by social media. That's what you've been doing, okay? So whenever anyone brings up the idea of this fight happening, you cringe about it. You have a problem with it. Is it perhaps that you're afraid of the fact that if that fight does go down, that Rigondeaux could possibly ruin Lomachenko's career if they step in the ring? So that's probably what it is. And Bob Aaron's very aware of that too. He's a very smart guy because he knows damn well if Rigondeaux fights Lomachenko at the current state that he's in right now, and Clemens knows this too, they know damn well that Lomachenko is going to be in a very tough fight, and the fact that he might not be able to prevail. And there's a good chance that he'll be ruined before he becomes an actual star. So that's the reason why they don't want to put this guy in the ring with Rigondeaux right now, okay? That's why they've been very evasive about it, and you know that, and I know it as well. So, just like how you've been very evasive about Gennady Golovkin fighting Alexander Lara. You could say, well, Lara hasn't done this, he hasn't done that, but the fact is that you're not confident enough that he could beat those guys. Well, that Golovkin could beat Lara, and you're not confident that Lomachenko could beat Rigondeaux, a small guy that he ducked, by the way, that you're trying to be very evasive about. But let's continue.
Talking about how unification and undisputed fights were the only thing that really mattered in boxing, yet
Yes, they are.
Tank Davis a pass for not fighting fucking Lomachenko?
No, I didn't give him a pass. So first of all, whoever gave Tank Davis a pass for not fighting Lomachenko, they're wrong. Okay, I disagree with that notion. However, I'm my own man. I state my own opinions. Now, the fact is, I didn't give Tank Davis a pass for Duncan Lomachenko. Okay. First of all, I even said in that video, the post-fight video with Liam Walsh, I believe, that was the video that I made the comment where Floyd said that he's not going to have Tank Davis fight Lomachenko, although he claims that his fighter is the best fighter in that division. So I specifically said that, well, you can't call yourself a world champion if you're not willing to fight the other champions in your weight class. So that is a duck on Floyd Mayweather's part, and that's a duck on Tank Davis' part, and they don't get a pass for that. Plain and simple. So once you're a title holder, I don't care if you're into 12 pro fights and you're 13 pro fights, whatever. Once you grab a belt, once you're titleless, then you have to defend it against all comers. Plain and simple. So like I said, Tank Davis is not exempt from that train of thought or that rule of theory. Okay, but it's funny though, because whenever somebody becomes a title holder, when they hold on to a belt for certain reasons, for financial reasons, and they come up with various excuses why they don't want to fight the other champion, you seem to defend that. Like for example, let's give an example. So like Sergey Kovalev, for example. But you never addressed this issue for some reason. I don't know why. So when Adonis Stevenson and Sergey Kovalev were supposed to fight, of course, you made it seem like that Stevenson was a lone ducker in that situation. But you neglect to mention that Sergey Kovalev was a guy who ducked out of 2 burst bids against Adonis Stevenson, which prevented an undisputed light heavyweight bout from happening. And you never touched on that issue, but if you had touched on that issue, you probably came up with various excuses why Kovalev got a pass for doing what he's doing. And Carl Frampton, another example. When Carl Frampton was the WBA and IBF unified super bantamweight champion, Rigondeaux was the mandatory. So when Carl Frampton vacated his belt and ducked Rigondeaux, which was a very, very cowardly duck, you gave Frampton all the passes in the world for not defending his title against Rigondeaux. Although they never sat down on a negotiation table, and Frampton didn't even bother negotiating with the man, but you gave him a pass for ducking that fight. But it's funny though, you're being a hypocrite there, because when other fighters have ducked out of fights for so-called financial reasons, you never gave them a pass. Like Peter Quillen, for example, and Danny Jacobs did at one point, and Billy Joe Saunders did with Golovkin. You didn't give them no passes for the reason why they were avoiding that fight. They did it for financial reasons. So since you couldn't admit that Carl Frampton had ducked Guillermo Rigondeaux for financial reasons, I've asked you repeatedly, well, can you give Danny Jacobs, Peter Quillen, and Billy Joe Saunders the benefit of the doubt, because they did this? They cited financial reasons for the same reasons why they didn't fight Golovkin. You refused to do that, so there's a contradiction right there.
And deflecting Lomachenko to fight fucking a guy who's coming off of non-wins, right? Which is your criticism towards him fighting Marriaga, Salido, who was fucking 0, 2, and 1.
You know what's funny? I actually want you to do this. See, you fell for my trap, because it seems like every time I bring up Orlando Salido, you find ways to discredit Salido. Why? You bring up his recent record, and in recent memory, he hasn't had like a great win-loss ratio, whatnot. You make it seem like that Salido now is an overrated bum, okay? He's washed up, blah, blah, blah. There's no reason for Lomachenko to fight this guy. And yet you got your commenters and your supporters who actually believe this narrative. But you fail to realize that every time you discredit Salido, just like you did in one of your latest video, Tank Davis is fighting a guy who's 1, 2, and 1 at 130 pounds, which you're directing towards Orlando Salido. You realize that you're discrediting Lomachenko. You know why? Because given the fact that Salido hasn't had the best run in recent memories, because obviously he's declining, he's had a lot of tough fights, etc., etc. The fact is that Lomachenko couldn't beat an overrated bum as you claim that he is right now. Salido beat Lomachenko. He's the only guy that beat him, gave him his only loss on his record. So you do realize the more you discredit Salido, the more you discredit Lomachenko, which is a fucked up thing to do. And this is the most stupidest thing that you're doing, because now there's a justification why Lomachenko cannot be pound for pound number 1, because he lost to an overrated bum, as you claim Orlando Salido is. Let's continue. Come on.
that fight needs to happen. But then
Yeah, exactly.
use that negativity to rip Marriaga.
Let's see, negativity. I mean, you're getting mad because people are using so-called negativities towards fighters that you admire so much. Really? Let's see. You always talk about why is everybody so negative. Well, you've been so negative about the Terrence Crawford and Julius Indongo Undisputed Championship fight. You've been attacking people who've been clamoring for it. Let me see. Nobody's hating on the fight. That's what we're referring to. Crawford and what you call it, and the Indongo fight. But let's get further than that. Let's continue. I will continue that later.
Because he's coming off of a loss,
right,
in a potential fight of the year against Valdez, right?
Potential fight of the year. Let me see. First of all, it was a pretty good fight, but you realize that Marriaga lost that fight down the stretch. He faded in the second half of the fight after Valdez adjusted. Valdez was jabbing him to death, hitting him with combinations from all different angles. That's something that Marriaga didn't even adjust to. He kept trying to attack from a straight line, which is a dumb thing to do when a guy's fighting you in angles. So, yeah, you neglect to mention that, right? But since Valdez is the fighter of the year, that means he's a better fighter than Indongo. Well, you fail to realize that I don't know how many times people have to tell you this. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I don't know how many times that Red Fox have to tell you this, or other commenters like Fancy Knowledge, that look, just because he gave a pretty good effort doesn't mean he's a better fighter than the other guy who's actually achieved more than him. It's simple logic. I don't know why you can't understand. You lack that understanding. Again, I have to repeat myself. I mean, a goddamn 10-year-old with some rational sense can actually understand that more than you with the 50-year-old brain. But hey, it is what it is.
Somebody on your own channel disagreed with you.
Yeah, that's only one person. Low Plays. Yeah, we've had our spats, but sometimes Low Plays doesn't make sense. Sometimes he makes sense. It is what it is. But he's the only guy that had a disagreement. While you have other commenters who disagree with you on the Marriaga and the Indongo situation. So that's no comparison. Let's continue.
It stated that yes, they felt that Marriaga beat Valdez.
Yeah, they felt. There's a difference. There's a difference of feeling that he won the fight versus actually the fact that he actually won the fight. The fact of the matter is that Marriaga didn't win the fight. Plain and simple. So you can't give credit to a guy that actually didn't do anything in the ring against a guy who's a young champion. He didn't beat him. In fact, a consensus said that Marriaga lost that fight. 116 to 111. That was my score. The fact that Marriaga got knocked down in that fight, and he also got knocked down against Walter. So why don't you ever mention that?
That's got a top-ranked decision. I didn't feel that way, but that's just interesting.
Top-ranked decision. Yeah, the score's a bit too wide, but as I mentioned, the fairest score is 116 to 111. That was the fairest score, in my opinion. The fact is that people don't argue the fact that Valdez lost that fight. It's just the fact that you and probably Low Places one that in the minority that believes that Valdez won. So it is what it is. You're entitled to your beliefs, but your beliefs doesn't really correlate into fact as you're trying to make it out to be, which is a dumb thing to do. Let's continue.
Somebody from your channel felt that way. Then, not pushing Andre Ward to unify 175 pounds. Talking and bragging.
First of all, stupid, I did address that issue. I'm not sure if you're trying to lump me in with somebody else's opinion. Hey, look, that's their opinion. If they feel they need to fight Tony Bellew, so be it. But I don't agree with that either, because in my video, my latest video, where I stated, where it's titled that the Mikey Garcia Adrian Broder fight is not more important than the Julius Indongo Terrence Crawford fight, I specifically said that, look, Andre, I like you, man, but if you don't fight Adonis Stevenson or Adonis Stevenson doesn't fight you, I'm coming after either one of you for ducking. There's no excuse for that. That fight needs to happen at light heavyweight. I don't want you to fight Tony Bellew. You need to make that fight with Adonis Stevenson. You guys have got to come to a compromise. Either you go to Canada to fight Adonis Stevenson, or Adonis Stevenson, you need to come to the United States and fight Andre Ward. Okay? I specifically said that in that video. See, this is where you're a dumbass, because you don't listen to everything I say, because you lack that comprehension. Let's continue.
About how Lomachenko beating Indongo, who is...
Who? Wait, Lomachenko beating Indongo? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Marriaga? See, now you're confused.
Right? It's not a great fight. It's not a career fucking fight. It's not a career name fight.
Not a career name. So let me get this straight. Lomachenko beating Rocky Martinez. You think that's a career name? Nah, I don't think so. Rocky Martinez is a good fighter, but we can all agree that he's not a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter. And Lomachenko making 3 defenses at featherweight for his featherweight title after he beat Gary Russell Jr. He beat Marriaga and Murad and Rivera, 3 guys that were not rated in the top 10. So basically, beat those guys, as you say, or not, as you say, whatever you say, or they're not great fights, right? But what did you say? Let me go back.
Indongo, right? It's not a great fight. It's not a career fucking.
There you go. So when Lomachenko made those other 3 title defenses against non-top 10 fighters, right, that I just mentioned at featherweight, those are not career fights either, but you gave Lomachenko credit for those wins, right? Wow, unbelievable. Okay, let's continue.
Fight. It's not a career name. 5 years down the road, nobody's going to be saying Indongo's name. He's not going to be anybody.
Yeah, 5 years down the road, they won't mention Rocky Martinez. Perhaps 5 years down the road, they won't mention Gary Russell Jr. either. So they certainly won't mention Jason Socha, and they certainly won't mention Miguel Marriaga. So you gotta watch what you say these things, all right? Because this is a guy that you rate pound for pound number 1 with. In fact, he himself has questionable stuff on his resume. So let's continue.
Okay, that anyone props on Terrence Crawford's resume. This is not a negative towards Crawford.
Yes, you are, because now in multiple videos you went after Crawford's resume by who he's he beat. Who's he beaten? He hasn't beaten anyone elite. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. Even though he's doing things in an impressive way. But I'll tell you one thing. Crawford has wins that's far more impressive than Lomachenko. Yeah, he has far more wins that's far more impressive than Lomachenko. Let's be honest. You know that, and I know that. If you think you could debate win an argument in that situation, you would get blown out of the water by anybody. So let's continue.
Crawford's doing what makes sense. He's taking the only fucking fight available to him.
No, he's not. There's other fights that were available, okay? Because he could have bypassed the Indongo fight. He didn't have to fight Indongo. He could say, you know what? I'm going to wait for the winner between Adrian Broner and Mikey Garcia. Then I'm going to make that fight. I'm going to make that fight instead. Or better yet, I could go up to welterweight right now. I could make some fights there. There's Danny Garcia. He's available. He doesn't have any opponents at this time. Errol Spence Jr., he doesn't have any opponents available at this time. So I could have taken a fight with either one of those guys. But he chose not to do that. He chose to fight Julius Indongo to unify the division. Something that we haven't seen in 11 years, to become the undisputed champion. And now it pisses you off because your heroes, as Fight Critic had pointed out, shout out to Fight Critic, by the way, is that those heroes of yours had the opportunity to take advantage, to seize an opportunity to become an undisputed champion, which is Sergey Kovalev, which is Gennady Golovkin, but they failed to do it. The ball was in their court, but they failed to do it, and you didn't bother making any videos to criticizing them for not taking advantage of that opportunity. So now you're pissed off about the fact that Terrence Crawford took advantage of that opportunity. All right? So tough luck. You got to deal with it. All right, let's continue.
Right now, the only fight.
No, it's not.
An ESPN fight that helped build his brand.
Whatever.
So that he can potentially be a bigger star in boxing. The same thing Lomachenko is doing. There's no difference except that.
Yeah, there's a difference. There is a difference. Crawford is in a much more significant fight, right? Opposed to Lomachenko, who's not in a significant fight. See, your angle is that Crawford is going to a unification undisputed fight that's not that significant. It's just a showcase fight for him. So that's what this is the angle that you're pulling, right? While on the other hand, Lomachenko is fighting a guy that's meaningless at this point, but yet you're trying to sell to the public that that's a much more solid fight than Terrence Crawford's versus Indongo, which makes no fucking sense. So yeah, you're raising a lot of eyebrows with your theories and your assessments on both of the fights. So let's continue.
Crawford gets to fight a guy who has 2 belts and become undisputed in the process.
Right.
Because yes, guys from his weight class aren't ducking him. Not like Lomachenko, who fucking got ducked by Corrales.
Well, first of all, let's point this out. Corrales turned it down because he got a low ball offer, number one. Number two, how is it that Terrence Crawford, who's a far more dangerous fighter than Vasily Lomachenko, is able to get fights as opposed to Lomachenko? I'll tell you why. Because Lomachenko's management team has a very, very, very odd way of negotiating fights, okay? That needs to be questioned. That's something you failed to question, okay? So that tells me that since they can't get these big fights made at a reasonable stance, that shows that his management team is doing a very poor job of getting him good fights. As opposed to Crawford, who has a very good management team. They've been able to secure big fights for him, and he's been able to capitalize on it. So how the fuck is Crawford is able? So that tells me that Crawford has a very competent team, opposed to Lomachenko, who doesn't have a competent management team. Yeah, the same management team, which is Cleveland, who got Sergey Kovalev to fight to sign on to a stupid ass deal with Kathy Duva, where he got no guaranteed money to take the rematch with Sergey Kovalev. How come you didn't make a video about that? How come you didn't call out Duva and Clemens to get Kovalev to sign a deal like that against Andre Ward, who's actually one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world? Well, actually, is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, to everyone's consensus. So that's very odd. So you should question Clemens, Lomachenko's management team on their business practices. So yeah, let's continue.
They offered a contract for Schelt, who obviously doesn't want to fight him.
Well, first of all, Burchell got a fight coming up against Mira. So I don't understand that. How can you miss that fact? Let's continue.
Uchiyama, who
right.
you said, who's basically retired.
Yeah, whatever.
Vargas, coming off of a loss.
Yeah, exactly. And I said specifically, yeah, those guys are available. You can fight them, but don't put the title on the line. Just like I said, Sergey Kovalev, I had no problem with Sergey Kovalev fight Isaac Chilemba, long as you don't put the titles on the line. That's the reason why I had a problem with those fights. With that fight, is that the titles were on the line. I didn't have no problem with Isaac Chilemba being the opponent. Don't put the title on the line against a guy coming off a loss. Okay, as you stated, that this fight on ESPN is a showcase fight for Lomachenko to build his brand. So it's a stay busy fight. That's cool. If you have a stay busy fight, cool. But fight somebody who's a little bit credible. But if he's coming off a loss, don't put the title on the line. Uchiyama, Vargas, fine. Don't put the title on the line against those guys. But they're far more credible than fucking Marriaga. Far more credible. Let's continue.
Lomachenko should fight Vargas, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
A knockout loss.
Yeah, exactly. But don't put the titles on the line, as I said, stupid. So let's continue.
But you'd rather see fucking Lomachenko fight Vargas.
Yeah.
And Uchiyama. Two guys coming off of losses.
Yeah.
This is such a fucking clown you are.
No, bitch, you don't understand you lack that understanding. Again, as I just said, those guys are far more credible than Marriaga. So if you're gonna fight a guy coming off a loss, at least fight a guy who's more credible, but don't put the titles on the line. As I said with the Kovalev and Chilemba situation. Go back to my videos. I've made those statements perfectly clear. Let's continue.
These were two guys that you said would be better fights than Marriaga.
Yeah, many would agree.
Coming off the losses. One guy a knockout loss.
Yeah.
The other guy fucking a split decision loss.
Yeah, but he didn't get knocked out.
The knockout loss. So 2 losses in a row. But those guys.
Yeah, well, as I said, I don't know if you understand this. Fight those guys. If you want to stay busy, great. If it's a showcase fight to build your brand on ESPN, don't put the title on the line against a guy who's coming off a loss. Plain and simple. A credible opponent. Uchiyama's credible, more credible than Marriaga. And Vargas, far more credible than Marriaga. Simple as that. Just don't put your title on the line against those guys, okay? So, yeah, let's continue.
Guys are better opponents than Marriaga.
They are.
You are just so fucking retarded. It's unbelievable.
Well, retarded. Let's see. You couldn't answer simple questions based off your logic that you're saying a guy's better than another guy based off the fact that he was in 2 big fights that he failed to win in, right? That's a retarded logic right there. Number one, you're the same guy who said that, well, I know more boxing history than you because I'm older, I watch the sport longer than you. Although, you couldn't name Sugar Ray Robinson's opponents, you couldn't name any one single accomplishment that he's done in his career, although you rate him number 2 greatest fighter of all time behind Muhammad Ali, which is a retarded logic right there. And you claim that you studied Edgar Charles' career. I asked you specifically when we had that hangout debate a year ago with the librarian, who did he beat? You couldn't answer that fucking question. So, you bodied yourself in that video, in that hangout, and you're bodying yourself now in this video and the other previous videos before this one. But let's continue.
Unbelievable that you continue to push this fucking topic forward.
Yes, I am, because you are.
I responded to Fight Critic, who is a total fucking douchebag.
Yeah, you know what though? Fight Critic could beat you in debate. He'll destroy you. Just like I have on many occasions, alright? So at least Fight Critic knows about the history of sport more than you do. So it'll be very difficult for you to try to undermine his credibility. So good luck with that. Let's continue.
My way by stating that Nobody's fucking hating the fucking Crawford Indongo fight. This
Let's see. Let's look at your titles here.
is typical from the collective you.
Collective you. Shut the fuck up. But anyways, let's see. Typical clown BS. You went after you went after and undermined the fight in that video. Nobody's hating on the fight, which you're saying you're responding to Fight Critic. You were going after Indongo and Crawford's resume. All you were saying that I don't have no problem with that fight, and then you attacked their level of opposition that they fought in that same video, and then you made another video before that, blowing holes in clowns, which was a response towards me. Bullshit meter, where you were responding to Fancy Knowledge 34 when he was coming after you about your stupid ass retarded comparison on how you're gonna say that Marriaga is a better fighter than Indongo, which is crazy. And then you made another video before that called Black American Bias. It's a thing. Okay. Race baiting, going after the black demographic on at the LDBC as usual. So yeah, Lomachenko versus Marriaga, solid fight. In the same video where you were trying to undermine the Indongo Crawford unification fight. So if that's not a form of hating or being negative towards a historic fight, then you tell me what is. Anybody who has good logical sense can see between the lines of what you're trying to do. So you're not fooling anybody, stupid. So let's continue.
Who consistently wants to push out these fake fucking news stories, making it seem like one statement, one comment.
Let's see, fake news stories. Let's see, were you lied about the fact that Gervonta Davis was going to cherry pick Billy Dib for a voluntary defense for his IBF title, which you didn't retract that video? You didn't retract that story? In fact, that was so untrue that the fact that some commenter even had to argue with you showed you evidence that was not the case. The case was that Billy Dib was fighting in a title eliminator that was ordered by the IBF to fight Tevin Farmer. And the winner of that fight would get a shot at Gervonta Davis. So you made a false video about that, attacking Gervonta Davis and the money team, even though that was not true, and you refused to retract that. So if you want to talk about false fake news or false narratives, why did you retract that video? Huh? Why did you retract anything you said in that video, which is completely false? You didn't, because you don't have the honor and integrity, you fucking bitch. Let's continue.
On your feed justifies grouping everybody together and coming out with this fucking narrative, which is what you guys do consistently.
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody's hating on the fight, but
yeah, you are. You made 6 previous videos attacking the fight, you dumb fuck. You even got commenters who's arguing with you about your bullshit assessment. So come on, who are you fooling? Let's continue.
People are being honest. They're not blowing it up as the best fight of the year.
Now, let me comment on that. Is it the best fight of the year? No, I don't think so, but it could be. In fact, I do know one thing. It is the most significant fight of the year. There's no disputing about that because we do have an undisputed championship on the line, okay? Now, if the others who said that this would be the best fight of the year, that's their opinion, fine. But you don't have to make 5, 6 different videos slamming them just because they have that belief. All right? That just goes to show that you lack that you lack the maturity right there, okay? If you simply disagree with that, no should just say I simply disagree. That's it. Moving along. Don't sit there and go after a guy's resume, undermine what he was able to do in a 6-month period, and don't go back in there. Don't sit there and try to undermine Crawford for what he's been able to do so far in his career as a top pound-for-pound fighter in the process. So let's continue.
Nobody in the world of boxing believes that fucking Terrence Crawford Indongo is the best fight of 2017. No.
Well, some people believe it, but yet you're attacking those people who actually believe it. But anyways, again, that's their belief. That's prerogative. Let them be on that, okay? So no one can argue, again, as I have to repeat myself, that it is the most significant fight of the year on paper. So let's continue.
Nobody, except for you fucking collective we. That's all. Only you guys fucking are pushing this, and you don't even believe it.
Oh, don't even believe it. Okay, well, you know, it's funny, though, because when you say Lomachenko is pound-for-pound #1, right, you don't believe it at all yourself because, first of all, I asked you a specific question. This is a question that you've continually ducked. And I asked you that it's stupid because you said it was so stupid in your previous video with your response towards me because you said it was so stupid for anyone to consider Julius Indongo to be pound-for-pound #1 if he beats Terrence Crawford over Andre Ward, right? It's so stupid to put him over Andre Ward. Then I asked you a simple question: is why the hell, if that's the case, then why the hell do you have Lomachenko ranked higher than Andre Ward? Huh? Right now, why do you have him pound for pound #1 over Andre Ward? It's a simple question that you failed to answer, and you have avoided that issue over and over and over and over again. Okay? So, if you're not, that's called being dishonest right there. If you're not going to answer that question, if you're going to continue to avoid that question. So, if you're going to continue to avoid it. So, let's continue.
But you're just pushing out this narrative. That's the fucking stupidity about all this fucking back and forth fucking bullshit.
Stupidity, huh?
We're going to find out.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, dummy. You take stupidity on the next level when you made that dumbass comparison 5 videos back. But let's continue.
That I'm correct when these two fights happen. When Indongo gets his ass beat fucking real quick. Boom.
Well, that's all speculation. But first of all, you talk about you're being correct. Let's see. You were wrong in your predictions about Kovalev knocking out Andre Ward. You were wrong about Chris Eubank beating Billy Joe Saunders. Although you lied and said that you never made that statement when Chris Coban came after you, and proved the fact that you actually made that statement, that you said initially that Chris Eubank Jr. will beat Billy Joe Saunders. And then you lied and said that I never said that Triple G was the best fighter in the world, which I actually showed the comments that you actually said that, right? And then you want to turn around and say, I was just being sarcastic. Bullshit. Bullshit. You fucking lied and you got caught and you tried to change it up. You tried to run away from it as far as you can, okay? And as I mentioned, you lied about the fact that Gervonta Davis was trying to cherry pick Billy Dib, which is untrue, okay? You lied about that. You never retracted from it, okay? So, you lied about that. You were wrong about that prediction. I'm sorry, as far as lies, you were wrong about that. You were wrong about the Billy Dib and Gervonta Davis situation. You were wrong about the Kovalev getting TKO. You're wrong about the Chris Eubank and Billy Joe Saunders situation. And you were wrong about the Salido situation. But now you want to backtrack that and say that, well, although he did price himself out, it's his fault that he can't get himself in shape for the date. Okay, we'll get into that later. So your predictions has been very, very, very off as of late. Okay, so you're probably one of those stupid people who also said that Sabransky, who's a White Murderers Row member, right, quote unquote, was going to steamroll over Barrera. Of course, when that didn't happen, oh boy, you guys didn't mention Sabransky again after that, huh? Yeah, you are also one of those people who also believed that Edward Trojanowski was going to be the boogeyman of the 140-pound division, who was going to steamroll Terrence Crawford, and you guys accused Crawford for ducking that fight. After the fact that Trojanowski knocked out Ibarra, who's the Japanese fighter, who was the mandatory challenger to his 140-pound title, right? So when Trojanowski ducked the fight for Crawford for unification bout, right? You didn't make any videos about that, right? So it's kind of odd that the fact that Trojanowski had lost to Julius Indongo, you're trying to throw him under the bus and you're trying to rip that victory away from Indongo, which is unfair. But anyways, I'm getting off a little bit off the point there. But the fact is that you've been wrong with your predictions as of late. So, yeah, let's continue.
And Lomachenko goes 12 rounds with a tough, hard, fucking aggressive Marriaga.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I bet you predicted that Triple G was going to KO or TKO Danny Jacobs. That didn't happen. So, I didn't hear any retraction from that. You didn't eat crow from that, even though a lot of people believe that Jacobs won that fight. So, like I said, your predictions has been way off, and your theories have been way off as well. You've been pretty wrong about everything in this entire year so far, even going back to 2016. So let's continue.
Puts in a far better effort than Sosa and Walters.
You think so? Okay.
That's what we're gonna get.
Well, you failed to mention that Marriaga has struggled against Vasquez Valdez when he was fighting him in angles. He couldn't do anything to close the gap in that situation. Marriaga didn't even make any adjustments to even negate that situation. And besides, Lomachenko is a far, far better fighter on many levels than as far as skill set when it compares to Nicholas Walters and Oscar Valdez. So you neglect to mention that. So, yeah, let's continue.
and then you're not even going to discuss it. You're going to ignore it. You're going to make excuses, or you're going to praise Terrence Crawford for how dominant he was against this great fighter, Indongo.
First of all, Indongo is a very, very good fighter. He's a very skillful fighter, okay? As far as him being great, yeah, there's ways to go, okay? Because we want to see him more in title fights to see how well he hits other top-ranked contenders. We'll see how well he handles that situation. But so far, what he's done is great. He's done something that nobody's been able to do in a long, in my recent memory, which is very, very, very rare. Where you got a guy who comes out of nowhere and wins back-to-back world titles in a hostile situation in a 6-month period. So that's the form of greatness of that is one side of a greatness that you could say about Indongo. Now, as far as him being a great fighter overall, yes, there's ways to go, but it does not dismiss the fact that he's a very good, talented fighter right now. He's going up against Terrence Crawford right now, who's also a very good and talented fighter. So let's continue.
Who never did anything in his whole career, and not to say
never did anything his whole career. He did far more than Marriaga, which you continue to neglect. So come on, simple. It's rocket science. Let's continue.
Marriaga is a monster. Never said it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you had. Yes, you had. You just said that he was a far better fighter than Julius Indongo, right? You kept saying that he's been in the fight of the year, quote unquote, and he was in a fight with Nicholas Walters, which he lost handily. Okay, whatever. Well, Indongo, again, I keep repeating myself. The reason why I repeat myself, because I want you to understand in that little stupid brain of yours that this is a guy who's had back-to-back title wins. He's 2-0 in world title fights, while Marriaga is 0-2 in title fights. He has no wins against over top 10 opposition, as opposed to Indongo, who has wins over top 10 opposition. So let's continue.
Marriaga is a replacement fight for Salido, a guy not with a fucking win at the time when you guys were pushing him, but that was okay.
Yeah, see, again, there you go again. The more you discredit Salido, the more you're discrediting Lomachenko. You fail to realize that's what you're doing. Because now you're giving everybody ammunition to go after Lomachenko now, because he can't even beat a fucking overrated washed-up bum as you claim Salido is. So you have to watch what you say. But then again, it's too late now because you fucked up by saying that. And I'm surprised that no one's been able to drive that point against you until now that I've been able to do it. So let's continue.
For Salido, who was offered the money he wanted, but couldn't make the date.
Right.
And you're so stupid. You say, why don't they change the date?
Right.
It's on ESPN, you fucking idiot.
All right, you stupid ass. Let me tell you something. This year we have plenty of fights that has been scheduled for certain dates, and they have been rescheduled. Gary Russell Jr. with Oscar Escandon. That fight has been rescheduled. They had a preset date. They had to reschedule that fight. David Haye, who's notoriously had preset dates with Tyson Fury back in 2013. He had to push those dates back a couple of times before he ultimately pulled out of the fight. Vladimir Klitschko, who you said at one time should have been pound for pound number one fighter over Floyd Mayweather Jr., he's notorious for pulling out, who had postponed his fights, had preset dates, and he pushed back his fights on numerous occasions, including one against Tyson Fury. And Oscar De La Hoya, when him and Fernando Vargas first agreed to fight, they had a dispute over the scheduled date. So they ultimately agreed to a venue and the date and the other terms in their agreement when they fought back in when they agreed to the fight back in 2001. But Oscar De La Hoya had postponed that fight twice. He kept changing the dates. So they finally got the fight done and finally got it scheduled on 2002. So it's very common to have this thing happen, you dumb fuck. All right? We have many fighters that go into negotiations that dispute the dates, and they all have to come to an agreement whether they have a suitable date or not. It's just the fact that Lomachenko and his team wouldn't budge on that date because they were trying to get Salido at a time when they know he's vulnerable. Because they know, and you know, that this will continue to be a black cloud over Lomachenko's career until he avenges that loss. All right? So this is where you failed that comprehension again, you dumb fuck.
These dates are pre-fucking set.
So what? They can be rescheduled, as I said, you dummy.
They're preset.
Doesn't matter.
If the guy can't fight, they're going to replace him.
Right. But the reason why they did it because they were trying to get him in a vulnerable situation, like I said. The same tactic that Floyd Mayweather and Sugar Ray Leonard used to pull all the fucking time. Against certain fighters. And you know what I'm getting at. Let's continue.
You, the collective you, totally praised and gave Wilder a pass for fighting Areola.
No, you dumb fuck. I didn't do that. First of all, you comment on that video. I came out against Wilder for fighting Areola after that perfected fallout, okay? I specifically said that Wilder should not be fighting Chris Areola. I said, Deontay, I like you, man, but you are a world champion. You cannot be fighting opposition like this, okay? Especially a guy who's completely washed up, who's way, way over the hill, who's totally shot, is getting a title shot coming out for suspension, okay? You should not be fighting guys like that. I know he came out with a reasoning saying, well, all the other top heavyweights cannot fight me on short notice. Well, I don't buy that argument because there was many other heavyweights that were available who are far more credible than fucking Chris Arreola. I specifically said that. I got a little heat for making that video, but the fact is that was my opinion. I stand by what I said, okay? And you commented on that, and you also came against that situation with Wilder. So I know you're going to lie about that in the next coming seconds, so let's continue.
I'm not coming off of a victory, coming off of a draw and a no decision. But that was okay. You gave him a pass. Why?
I didn't do that.
It's not his fault that can fail the test. So he should still get to fight someone. Exactly. I agree with that completely.
No, you didn't. You lie. You're lying because you went in video and went on a tirade saying that Wilder should not have fought that guy. And you went on many videos commenting on that situation as well with other people who disagree with that fight, including me. So why the fuck are you lying about it? I have the comments. I have screenshot those comments myself because everything that you comment, I'm screenshotting them. I have done that over the past year. So don't fucking lie about it, you fucking bitch. Let's continue.
I have no problem with Wilder fighting Arreola.
You lying. You did.
Never wrote one video fucking hating on
Yes,
him.
you did. You did. You lied. You're lying again. Go ahead.
Not one.
Yes, you have.
Because I understood that basically the fight with him and Povetkin fell through. He wanted to stay busy, get paid, so he jumped on Arreola. An American name, somebody people know.
Yeah, a guy who was shot.
Bad choice. Not the best choice.
It was a bad choice. All right? I don't give a damn what anybody said. That was my opinion. I didn't think he should have taken that fight. Plain and simple. As a result, Wilder sustained an injury that kept him out of action for a long while, out of a meaningless fight. So, to me, yeah, it was a bad choice on his part to take that fight. But anyways, it is what it is. Continue. Let's continue.
But not a bad choice. It's understandable. Just like Marriaga.
No, it's not.
Coming off of a great fight, worked with Top Rank before, obviously has a good relationship with Bob Arum and the group.
Yeah, but you fail to realize that Marriaga, again, hasn't beat any top 10 contenders. When he fought Walters, after he lost that fight, he didn't fight anybody on world level after that. Not even in the top 10, until he fought Oscar Valdez. The guy is ranked number 28th in the world as a featherweight, for God's sakes. He's not even rated the top one of the best featherweights in the world. So how the fuck are you comparing that to the situation with Wilder and Arreola? It's crazy. It's madness, man. But anyways, I mean, it's a stupid comparison because it's retarded because you shot down that Arreola and Wilder fight, as I mentioned. So it is what it is. Let's continue.
It was easy to set up for this fight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not rocket science. You know, it's the same reason why Golovkin, who was going to fight Eubank, had to find a replacement. So the promoter of Eubank found a replacement within his stable, Brooke.
James DeGale was still there with Eddie Hearn at that moment, so why didn't he fight James DeGale? James DeGale was far more credible than fucking Kell Brook, okay? Kell Brook, a guy whose greatest win on his record is against Sean Porter over about 33 fights in, who made 3 title defenses against mandatories in the IBF. Okay, that's fine. He had to do what he had to do with those mandatories. But before that, he had no significant fights before that. He had Carson Jones, a guy that nobody really knows, a guy who's not even great on the world level. And then Shevchenko, a guy that knocked out a way over the hill Ricky Hatton, who's not even a great fighter. But after that, before that, so Kell Brook was more suitable than James fucking DeGale. That's interesting that you were defending that fight because first of all, you and your little bitches, the Ku Klux Klan members in your comment section, right, that you allow to call us niggers and black tards and all that shit, blah blah blah, right? So you and us were shitting on Hopkins and Hagler. This is why this beef between you and I has started, right? You were shitting on Hagler and Hopkins for fighting smaller guys coming up in weight, right? And I pointed out to you and these idiots that it's been historically proven. I'm not proving it's a historical fact that welterweights or smaller guys like lightweights come up the weight and fought great middleweights. It's been done many times. It's been done in the past. It's been done in the present. It's been done many times. But no, you guys want to dismiss those guys' careers and propagate Golovkin and say that, well, Golovkin's fought real middleweights. He's fought full-fledged middleweights, which is untrue because he's fought a load of 154 guys coming up in weight. Okay? So when he decides to fight Kell Brook, a cherry pick, which is hypocritical on his part, you have a problem with me going after him. And the fact that when people were slamming that fight, You used the same logical explanation as I did for you with Hawkins and Hagler. You went told off on the commenter and said the same exact thing that middleweights have always fought welterweights. The same exact fucking thing that I told you. Okay? You being a fucking hypocrite about it, just like Golovkin was when he went after Canelo for fighting a fucking small guy, Amir Khan. Okay? Him and his promoter went out there publicly, slammed that fight, and yet they turned around and do the same fucking thing. Although Golovkin said that he wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, right? Which you denied that you denied the fact that that he ever said that, and I showed you evidence that he said that. You still were dismissive about it, and yeah, he was being a fucking hypocrite. But you wanted to go ahead and give him a pass for that. Wow. Okay, we'll see how that works. Retarded shit. Let's continue.
A world champion from 147 pounds.
Exactly, a world champion who hasn't really beat any credible fighters when he became a world champion. Yeah, exactly. Let's continue.
Right? Is it the best fight? Is it the fight everybody was clamoring for? Of course it wasn't. We all wanted a Canelo fight, but it was a replacement.
Wait, where did Canelo come in this? I thought we were talking about Eubank Jr. What the fuck are you talking about? Man, you confused, man. You gotta stop drinking. Let's continue.
Fight. It was him fighting in the UK in a big fight, so it was acceptable. It was a good fight.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? It was a good fight, but you couldn't admit that Kell Brook gave Golovkin all that he could handle. Hurt him, busted up through the kitchen sink at him, busted him up in many ways that other fighters couldn't do to him. So it's funny that you said it was a good fight, but you couldn't admit that Kell Brook hurt Gennady Golovkin. I mean, god damn it. It's just like, god damn it. It's like you and others have a hard time accepting the fact that Golovkin is a great fighter, is a very good fighter that he is, has flaws just like any other great fighter or good fighter, okay? You just cannot accept that fact. So I find that very strange. Let's continue.
And it did a lot to help build and promote GGG, so he's in a position now where he can get a Canelo fight.
Not exactly, because there's a lot of casuals who still don't know who the guy is. In fact, I'll give you an example. When Manny Pacquiao had a photo op with Gennady Golovkin, this is right after the Kell Brook fight. Manny Pacquiao even admitted that he didn't know who Gennady Golovkin was. Yeah, in fact, Hatman even put out a video about this leading up to the Brook fight. When Gennady Golovkin arrived to the airport, no one knew who the fuck he was. There was no mob of photographers. No one was, harassed him. No one, charged toward him, asked for an autograph. They didn't swarm him, anything like that. As soon as Hatman put out that video, every one of those Golovkin fanboys were ballistic at Hatman. They were upset. They said that's fucking stupid. First of all, Lochner and his team would have informed the media that he was coming in, so that's the reason why he wasn't getting swarmed, which is all bullshit, because Floyd Mayweather is a guy who could go around town and not get mobbed, because everywhere he goes, he gets mobbed. Mike Tyson, wherever he went, a day when social media didn't exist, he was mobbed everywhere he went. Okay, so if Golovkin is supposedly a crossover star, him going over to the UK fight Kell Brook was going to help his brand, was going to make him a crossover star. Actually, that didn't work. It didn't work at all. Okay, maybe he gets some bit of recognition in the UK, but that still falls short of him becoming a crossover star, because people still, casuals particularly, still don't know who the fuck that guy is. In fact, Ricardo Mayorga doesn't even know who the hell that guy is. Okay, so let's continue.
Then you want to talk about, well, you shouldn't be hating and angry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Terence Crawford fighting Indongo. Who was hating Terence Crawford?
You are. You are.
Show me one statement, one comment, one video where I said anything negative about Terence Crawford fighting Indongo.
Let's go through it. Let's see. Nobody's hating on the fight. Hating on the fight. In that video, you say, well, I'm not hating on the fight, but he's fighting a guy who doesn't have no significant wins. That's Julius Indongo. That's what you said. Typical clown BS. You said Julius Indongo is not a better fighter than Marriaga, because he hasn't fought anybody that's on the level of Nicholas Walters and Oscar Valdez. Although Marriaga didn't even win those fights. Okay. And then you said that, let me see, what other blowholes and clowns, bullshit meter, attacking that fight, Black American bias. Let's see what else. Lomachenko versus Marriaga, solid fight. You were attacking that fight. You were attacking others who actually were very ecstatic and happy about the Terence Crawford Julius Indongo fight. So in those videos, you made countless statements attacking that fight. And I've also mentioned the direct statements you made, which you're going to deny, just like you made statements about Harriet Tubman in one of the videos, which was a cowardly video that you took down like a bitch that you are. So let's continue.
You can't find it.
Yes, I did. They are there.
I have no problem with Terrence Crawford fighting Indongo.
Yes, you do.
Become undisputed 140.
Yes, you do.
Fighter. It's a smart move.
Smart move. Okay. It's a smart move. Why can't you say it's a great move? It's an historic move by Terrence Crawford. I commend him for doing something that I wish my fighters could do. But you won't say that. You can't say that because you have no integrity. You have no integrity. You have no honor. Okay? So instead of being upset at your heroes for doing what Terrence Crawford is doing, you're going to do whatever you can to undermine this fight, what you're doing right now. And you claim, oh, I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. No. You're hating. You're trying to undermine that fight the best way you can. Plain and simple. So if anybody else was doing that to Golovkin versus Saunders, when people are trying to undermine that fight, yeah, you will call them haters. All right? And you know that, and I know that. Let's continue.
Why would I hate it? It's going to be a fight on ESPN. He's going to look great. It's going to help build him so that he can fight the winner of Garcia Broner in a pay-per-view fucking fight.
First of all, how do we know that's going pay-per-view? You understand that the pay-per-view landscape in the United States is so bad that Manny Pacquiao even had to fight on ESPN, okay? Now, as Hatman pointed out in his video, which is a great point, on the Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev numbers, and Blood Boxing pointed this out as well, shout out to him as well, that the American boxing pay-per-view landscape is so bad that casuals are still upset over the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. A fight that we all could agree that Manny Pacquiao lost that fight, but I guess you're one of that minority that believes that Pacquiao won that fight. Okay, but that fight had damaged boxing so badly in America that the casual is still upset over it, that the only way boxing is going to have to recover from a viewership standpoint is that we're going to have to broadcast the fights on free-to-air network. That's the way it goes. So, Adrian Broner going on pay-per-view against Terrence Crawford? Nah, I highly doubt that. That fight's going to have to be on free-to-air network. No question about it. All right? So, what you're just saying is bullshit. It's just speculation, okay? So, you have no evidence. You have nothing at all to suggest that fight's going to be on pay-per-view. If it's on pay-per-view, so be it. But I don't see it happening. Let's continue.
Which will be huge and be great for him. I'm totally behind it. I think it's excellent. I have no problem with it. But I'm also not going to say it's the best fight of 2017. I'm not going to act like Indongo is some superstar and some monster. I'm not going to do that.
He's not, but he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter.
We know who's not being honest. The collective you.
Well, you're not being honest either, because remember when you made that video where Dominic Wade versus Gennady Golovkin was going to be a very good fight? Remember that one when you were defending Wade as a mandatory challenger? Although I felt that he should not have been the mandatory. I felt that he should not have been a suitable replacement for Toriano Johnson, which I was proven right. Okay? In fact, you went so far to say that Golovkin versus Wade was a much better fight than Scott would be a much better fight than Scott versus Wilder. Well, anyways, we all know how the Wilder Scott turned about. That was a dive down on Malik Scott's part. But you also went further to say that, well, Dominic Wade was a much better fighter than Malik Scott. Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, I remember that. You said that. So if you deny that, then you're not being fucking honest. You're being a liar again. So let's continue.
Right? Who's pushing this propaganda? You just go look at these channels and look at all the videos.
Propaganda, let's see. Lomachenko white propaganda. You're pushing the propaganda that Lomachenko's pound for pound #1, although he has 1 loss on his record and he has less than 10 fights. Wow. Okay, and you put him over Andre Ward. Okay, yet you have failed to explain why you put him over Andre Ward. Well, anyways, let's continue. If that's not propaganda, you tell me what is.
Pushing out this bullshit. And then they get offended because somebody's being honest and telling you the truth.
Really? Let's see. When I point out the fact that Gennady Golovkin has been awarded 2 titles, he's only won 1 title in the ring. In reality, he's actually made 8 successful title defenses, not 18. The other 10 were when he was an interim and regular champion, which he was a secondary champion to Felix Stern, which he was not the real champion, meaning Gennady Golovkin. When I point out that fact, you don't like it. You get upset, you get angry because others were being honest about that situation, which is a fact. Because you can't say Golovkin run at middleweight is far significant, but on Hopkins as Marvin Hagler, although those guys won titles in the ring. Now, as far as Bernard Hopkins winning his vacant title against Sungu Mercado, yeah, you can criticize that, whatever. But the fact is that Hopkins fought for that title in an actual fight. Even fighting for a title in a vacant fashion is much more difficult than being given a title. So, when I was being honest about that, you went into a tirade. You and these goddamn Ku Klux Klan supporters of yours who support Golovkin. And by the way, what's with that Confederate flag thumbnail on your latest response to K-Black Boxing? Huh? What was that all about? Clown. Let's continue.
Not hating on it, but they will act like it's based on race. Why is it based on race? What did I say that had anything to do with race? Based on hate. Hate for who?
Let's see. Based on race. You made a video. Let's see. What's that video titled? Black American Bias. Isn't that based on race? It's American thing. Isn't that based on race? If it isn't, then you're being not honest. You're being a fucking liar, okay? You're attacking these LDBC channels once again, which you just can't help doing. So now you're getting upset that I'm harassing you, although you harass them on a constant basis. But I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing what I'm doing to you, just like you're doing to those guys. But anyways, let's continue.
Terrence Crawford? Come on, get off of it. That's bullshit. So, who do I hate? Indongo? No, I'm happy Indongo's getting a big payday thanks to Eddie Hearn being smart enough to fucking help him and promote him to get this big fight.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Big payday. Let's see. Why didn't you go after Gennady Golovkin for turning out an big eight-figure payday against Canelo Alvarez, huh? Yeah, you can say, well, that's okay now. He's accepted the fight. That's great. But how do we know he's going to get paid more than what he was offered? So, I mean, perhaps that's what the case may be, but I don't understand. You talk about paydays all the time, but you never went after him for turning out that fight, which you don't want to admit that he ducked that fight. Just like how Canelo ducked him. So it is what it is. Let's continue.
I'm the guy pushing retarded narratives such as...
retarded narratives. Let's see. Lomachenko's pound for pound #1 over Andre Ward, although you say it's ridiculous for anyone to put... Julius Indongo, if he beats Crawford, pound for pound #1 over Andre Ward. It's a bullshit offer that Gennady Golovkin got from Canelo Alvarez, which would have been his biggest payday of his career, 8-figure payday. Retarded narrative. Okay, here we go.
to get this big fight. Excellent. Am I the guy pushing retarded narratives such as...
Yeah, retarded narrative that another one that Gennady Golovkin and the David Lemieux pay-per-view fight will be 1 million buys, even though that was Golovkin's first pay-per-view. Which was a bullshit push because, first of all, most fighters who debut on pay-per-view don't do that many numbers, okay? Especially if they're the headliners. So why would the fuck would you say that this guy's going to do 1 million pay-per-views? Yet, in fact, I was proven right. Everyone was proven right, even though I defended Golovkin at that point. So how the hell can you push that bullshit retarded narrative with the fact that it would even come close to that? Remember that? Let's continue.
Oh, if GGG and Canelo, the fighter of this fight, is going to be pound for pound #1 in the world.
Well, definitely it's a pound for pound fight. So whoever wins that fight will definitely not. It's not going #1. They could go either #3 or #2. So we'll see.
No, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
That's the collective you.
Why not?
Did it with Kovalev Ward, and now it's doing it with fucking Crawford and Indongo.
Why not?
Right? Just to perpetuate a black American fighter as the
Black American fighter. Really? Really, really, really. There you go again with this tribalism talk. You just can't get off that talk, can you? Can you? It doesn't matter if the guy is white. It doesn't matter if the guy is black. It doesn't matter if the guy is yellow. It doesn't matter if he's Eastern European. It doesn't matter if he's African descent. It doesn't matter. It's a good fight. It's an historic fight. It's something we haven't seen in 11 years, okay? So don't get upset that we believe that whoever wins that fight will be pound for pound #1, okay? It's our belief. That's our prerogative, okay? So if you believe it's a black narrative, then that's on you. But the fact is that you're totally wrong because here you are trying to inject race into the conversation, which you should not have done, which is a dumb, stupid thing for you to do. But again, you lack that comprehension, so it's you. But let's continue.
#1 fighter in pound for pound, according to you, because everyone knows it's a subjective list. So even
well, let me ask you this. If it's such a black narrative, then why the hell did you put Vladimir Klitschko over Floyd Mayweather pound for pound #1? Huh? Why would you have him pound for pound number one over Floyd Mayweather Jr., huh? Even though I've been critical of Floyd Mayweather's career, but Vladimir Klitschko, as I mentioned, hasn't beat any elite heavyweights in his career. He hasn't done that. He doesn't have any pound for pound heavyweights on his list. He doesn't have any undisputed champions on his list. Floyd Mayweather does. He has pound for pound fighters. He has Hall of Famers on his resume. Vladimir Klitschko doesn't. So how the hell do you have Vladimir Klitschko rated pound for pound number one over Floyd Mayweather? Again, you didn't answer that question either, and yet you failed to answer this question. Why do you have Vasyl Lomachenko over Andre Ward? Is it the fact that they're Eastern European? Is that the reason why you have them over those two guys, as I mentioned? So why don't you answer that question? Isn't it the same thing that you accusing us for putting Indongo or Crawford pound for number one if they win this fight? So even though that's a false accusation, but let's continue.
Even though you guys are all going to have those guys 1 and 2, regardless of where you have them, that doesn't mean everybody, as far as boxing fans worldwide, are going to agree with you. And just because you're getting in front of the story doesn't legitimize your claim any more than anyone else, right? Because if Canelo goes in there and stops fucking GGG in an exciting fight, there's a big discussion about him being pound for pound number one in the world.
Yeah,
or vice versa.
That's fine.
Right?
That's fine. And you can bring him into the discussion. That's fine. But it's going to be, like I said, pound for pound list is a very subjective thing to talk about. All right. But the fact is, if he does beat GGG in an impressive fashion, if he does knock him out, okay, people are entitled to the beliefs. They can go ahead and bring him to the discussion. But the fact is that fight was not for an undisputed championship fight. Okay, so that's one of the criteria of the equations that be left out. So you have to take that into consideration. You have one undisputed champion who collected all the belts from all the champions, while you have another guy who won all 3 belts from one guy, knocked him out. So yes, it'll be a debate, but the thing is, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just don't believe that it'll be enough to put Canelo pound for pound number one if he does win that fight. So I don't think it'll be enough. But let's continue.
That's just the truth.
Truth.
But you don't want to talk about that.
Oh, we are talking about it.
Lomachenko ends up going in there, destroying Marriaga, and then moves up to 135 to beat, I don't know, whoever. There will be a big discussion about him being a 3-way champion inside 11 fights, especially depending on the method that he goes about doing it.
First of all, are you comparing Lomachenko's moving up in weight in a rapid fashion to Manny Pacquiao? If you are, then that's a stupid comparison, because it seems to me that's what you're trying to do. Because here's the difference between Manny Pacquiao moving up in weight in a rapid and accelerated time versus Lomachenko. Okay, when Manny Pacquiao was moving up in weight, he was fighting Hall of Famers and former lineal champions and current lineal and unified champions. Okay, even though I did criticize him for fighting some of those lineal champions like Paulie Ayala and some of those other dominant champions like Edwin Valero and Oscar Larios, although it took him like 2 weight classes later to fight him. The fact is that Pacquiao fought lineal champions. He fought pound for pound fighters moving up in weight, and he fought multi-time champions and unified champions. Okay, and he's beating those guys. So in that situation, you could argue that what Pacquiao was doing, you could say, okay, he should be on the pound for pound list as maybe number 1, number 2 at that time. But the fact is that you try to compare that situation to Lomachenko, although he hasn't done not even a fraction what Pacquiao has done, even within less than 10 fights. That's crazy, even though he moves up to 135, because he hasn't fought the best in his division while he's moving up in weight. That's ridiculous, okay? Yes, it's not his fault that he doesn't have any pound for pound fighters in the divisions he's fought in. That's cool. But the fact is that still falls well short of being pound for pound number 1. So if you're trying to compare that to Pacquiao, which I think that's what you're trying to do, then that's totally a stupid comparison. So let's continue.
This is the thing that really freaks me out when you guys put out these stupid fucking claims.
Well, that's what you're doing. A stupid claim that Lomachenko's pound for pound number 1 over Andre Ward and Gennady Golovkin. In fact, that's an insult to Golovkin, for God's sake, if you got Lomachenko over him. Anyways, let's continue.
The concept that it depends how a person performs. Andre Ward, the first time against Kovalev, didn't perform great. He got dropped on his ass.
Well, let me see. So Indongo performs excellent against Tryanovsky and Burns, right? And if he somehow performs and just at the same levels as he did to Burns against Crawford. He somehow does that, and he becomes the undisputed champion. You don't want to put him pound for pound number one. So how the fuck you got Lomachenko at pound for pound number one over the same criteria, but you refuse to put Indongo pound for pound number one if he does decide to win the title? That makes no fucking sense. Let's continue.
Jabs and looks fucking vulnerable.
First of all, you're lying. First of all, in that Ward Kovalev fight, Kovalev was doing a good job in the first 2 rounds. Yes, he was landing that jab. He was hurting Ward in the first 2 rounds, and he knocked him down. But after that, you failed to mention that Ward adjusted. He took away Kovalev's right hand. He took away Kovalev's jabs, even though Kovalev was landing it to some degree, but they didn't have the same snap and effect like he did in the first 2 rounds because Kovalev tired out and Ward broke him down with the body shots. Besides, this is the same situation where you didn't give Ward credit for the body shots while you gave Canelo credit for a body shot attack against Arizona De La. Double standard. You're not being honest again. Let's continue.
He got the decision thanks to the refs.
No. He got the decision because he earned the decision. See, this is where you and these other idiots fail to understand one thing. You score fights on a round-by-round basis, okay? You don't score a fight, you don't get awarded the decision based off the fact that a guy is a champion. He's fighting a very close fight, which you've openly admitted. But you say it's a robbery because, so the champion in a close fight situation, he should get the benefit of the doubt. Really? Then why did you say that about Carlos Coutras when he fought Roman Gonzalez? Many people felt that he lost that fight against Gonzalez lost the fight against Coutras. Coutras was the defending champion. But you said that, Gonzalez deserved the decision even though it was a close fight. Wow, but on the other hand, Ward doesn't deserve the decision although it was a close fight against the champion Kovalev. So, double standard. We see where your bullshit agenda is going with that. You see where I'm going with that? Going with this? Let's continue.
Majority of people who watched the fight didn't agree with it. So how does that justify him being pound for pound number one?
Well, let me tell you why. Because Andre Ward cleaned out his division, which you denied that he did do, right? He didn't do, I should say. He cleaned out his division at 168. He beat all the best down there. He beat Carl Froch, Miguel Kessler, who were pound for pound ranked the best fighters at that time. He fought Chad Dawson, which we'll get to later in this video. He beat him, another pound for pound fighter, okay, who is a very good light heavyweight champion. So he beats Dawson. He moves up in weight, fights Kovalev, did ask for a catch weight, met all his demands while Kovalev and his promoter were the A side in the first fight. He beat him at his best, in his prime. So him doing that, you factor all those things together. In fact, that Ward was also a unified lineal champion, right? The fact is, he did all those. If you factor all those things together, he definitely deserved to be pound for pound number one. That's far better than what Lomachenko has done. Far better than what he's done. Okay, in a way. So when has Lomachenko fought a pound for pound fighter? Huh? He does have that chance against Rigondeaux. When's he fought a? When's he ever fought a? What's the other? A dominant champion. He hasn't done that. So when has Lomachenko been in a situation when he was rated an underdog? Maybe perhaps in the first Salido fight he was rated an underdog, but I have to check and see. But other than that, he hasn't came through adversity like Andre Ward has done. So that's the reason why Ward deserves to be pound for pound number one. Now that he beat Kovalev in the rematch, it's all done to dandy. There's no disputing that now. But you want to dispute that. But let's continue.
Right.
Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm having a little technical difficulties with this damn program, so hold on for a second. I'll be back. All right, as I was saying. Now, tell me where on Lomachenko's resume where he's beaten a unified champion. There isn't. So he hasn't done none of those things compared to what Ward has done. Now, the reason why I would make an exception of putting Indongo over Ward, if he does beat Crawford, is because Indongo has done something that Ward hasn't done. Collect all the belts, become an undisputed champion in a rapid time. Okay? That's when I make an exception for him. Okay? Now, if Crawford wins that fight, that's why I would put him over Ward, because Crawford has done all these things. He's fought all the best in his division. He's a 2-time lineal champion, 2 different weight classes. He's a unified champion, and he's done something just like Indongo could possibly do. Done something that nobody's been able to do on the male side of boxing for the last 11 years. Become undisputed champion. So yeah, let's continue to the bullshit. Let's hear you spew all your bullshit, huh?
It doesn't. That was the argument many people have. But when you come out with these asinine claims beforehand to get ahead of the story so you can perpetuate your fucking myth, your narrative,
Yeah.
then this is what you have to do. You have to follow through on your bullshit, even though you know he looked shit in the fucking process. Luckily,
no, he didn't.
Back in the rematch, thanks to the ref allowing him to look.
No, see, what you don't understand is that style makes fights, okay? He was in there against a guy who was far dangerous, who was very feared, who was actually one of the top, who was the top rated light heavyweight in the world, who was rated number 3, number 2 pound for pound, okay? Ward beating him definitely deserves him to propel him up to that point, okay? So you can dismiss that fight all you want to, but you can't dismiss the fact that Ward fought like a champion. He battled back through adversity, okay? A fight that he was going in as an underdog by slight margins, a fight that people thought most people like yourself thought he was going to get knocked out in, but it didn't happen. Wrong. You got your prediction wrong right there, just like you did in the second fight. Let's continue.
Low blow and fight illegal.
No. Okay, I don't understand why you and these dummies continue to fail to have this logic here. You guys just can't comprehend simple logic once again. Do I have to show you the tape? Tony Weeks specifically said before the opening bell, your trunks are too high, Kovalev. The trunks are high, but the shots on the belt right here are good. That's what he said. Ward was targeting that area. However, there's one questionable shot in the second round, which was slightly below the belt line, slightly below it. Tony Weeks told him to keep it up. Don't keep it up. All right, that's what he told Ward. Okay, Ward didn't do anything again after that. Okay, so when Ward got Kovalev hurt. Had him hurt. So this is what you guys keep neglecting the fact that Ward hurt Kovalev with that right in the 8th round, which he was clearly out on his feet. He wasn't responding after 30 shots against him. And then when Ward hit him with those body shots, when he caved in, he bent over to the ropes, right? If you look at the replay, those shots were on the belt line, okay? They were not low blows. They were on the belt line where Tony Weeks specifically said those shots were good. Okay, so you run on this narrative that, it was a low blow, it was Kovalev's nuts. I mean, goddamn, if Kovalev's nuts are that high, then please show some evidence where his nuts are located that high above his navel. All right. So, anyways, the only argument that you have legit, which you guys failed to bring up, is that Tony Weeks. Well, I think he brought it up. That Tony Weeks stopped that fight prematurely. I thought that he should have gave Kovalev the 10 count. All right, to give him a chance. But you also forget to mention that Kovalev also didn't complain about the stoppage until after the fight in the post-fight interviews when his manager put him up to it. Yeah, in the same post-fight press conference interview with his manager avoided the question about setting up a possible Rigondeaux and Lomachenko fight, which you don't want to see that fight happen. Let's be realistic, okay? Because as I stated in my early in this video, that you know damn well that if that fight happens now between Lomachenko and Rigondeaux, that Rigondeaux could possibly ruin Lomachenko like he ruined one of your favorite fighters, Nunito Donaire. And Bob Arum knows that, and Clemens knows that himself. So that's the reason why they're waiting for him to slow down so they can eventually take a fight with him. Yeah, very tactical, very strategic, right? Let's continue.
And the ref stopping the fight quick before there was an 8 count.
See, this is where you don't know the rules, you dumb fuck. In a unified fight, in a situation like that, when a unified fight, where unified rules, where all sanctioned bodies come together, which is the WBO, the WBA, and the IBF. In the unified rules, there is no standing 8 count. You dumb fuck. Let's continue.
For anything, Now, of course, he has a more significant victory. Still tainted,
Wait, hold up. So, more significant victory. So, are you giving him credit for that win? And then again, you're not giving him credit. So, which is it? Are you going to give him credit for the win or you're not? Because it seems like you're giving him credit, even though you're saying that now you're saying that he won illegally. So, what as you claim he did, which is untrue. So, which is it, man?
Not clean, but nonetheless, by Andre Ward, we expect anything else. What fight has he ever won where it's been no controversy or no fucking dodgy shit going on? Kessler.
Let's see. As a Miranda, that was a pretty clean fight. Okay, he won that fight with no dodgy efforts. As Sullivan Barrera, which was no dodgy shit going on in that fight. Let's see, what else? Let's see, Alexander Brand, even though that was a tune-up. Yeah, no dodgy shit. Paul Smith, no dodgy shit there either. What else? Carl Froch, no dodgy shit going on either in that fight. Arthur Abraham, no dodgy shit going on in that fight either, even though it was getting a little rough. But no, other than that, yeah, he's won some clean fights. The only problem is that you guys don't like his style where he's able to smother guys in, rough them up a little bit, whatnot. You guys don't like that. You just don't like his style, okay? It brings me back to the fact that, you know, it's funny though, because when Floyd Mayweather fought Marcus Maidana and he used all these roughhouse and dirty tactics against not only Floyd Mayweather, he's notorious for using it against Adrian Broner and Jesus Soto Karass, whatnot. Particularly in the Mayweather fight, you and others didn't mind when Floyd was getting low blowed deliberately by Maidana in the clinches when Maidana felt that the referee, he felt that he could get away with it without the referee seeing it. Excuse me. Deliberately headbutted Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather, which you didn't mind because you guys were crying and saying, well, it's a fight. It's a fight. Floyd shouldn't complain about that. He needs to fight on, which he did fight on, okay? But it seems that you guys didn't give Floyd Mayweather the benefit of the doubt. And I don't like Floyd, but I got to call it for what it is. You didn't give Floyd the benefit of the doubt when he was getting deliberately headbutted and low blowed by Maidana. But yeah, you claiming that Ward is just as dirty. That's crazy, and you guys are complaining about that. Whatever. You and others. Let's continue.
Headbutts, frotch, all kinds of dirty bullshit.
No.
Dawson drained his ass down to 168. Never the same fighter again.
No. See, I don't know why we got to keep going through this. First of all, Andre Ward did not drain Chad Dawson. Okay. Do I have to send you the video clips? First of all, it was Chad Dawson who called out Andre Ward. Andre Ward didn't call out Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson, after the Hopkins fight, the second fight, said that he will go down to 168 to fight Andre Ward. That's what he said in that interview, okay? All Andre Ward did in that situation is say, you know what? If you want to come down to my weight to fight me, fine, I accept your challenge. That's what he did. That's all he did, okay? But you don't want to give him credit for that win because he fought a Chad Dawson who was drained, who, by the way, fought at that division before. Okay, but let's not get it twisted. But the fact is that, yeah, okay, he fought at light heavyweight for some time, so maybe his weight didn't stabilize. Okay, I get that argument. But the thing is that I find that hypocritical on your part because you gave Manny Pacquiao full credit for all his catchweight wins at welterweight, majority of them, right? Including a catchweight win against Antonio Margarita for a 154-pound title, which he never defended, right? Particularly in one particular fight at welterweight when he fought Miguel Cotto at 145. Not only did that, but Miguel Cotto had to agree to a fucking rehydration clause as well. So you never criticized Pacquiao for his catchweight wins at welterweight or his catchweight win against Margarito at light middleweight. So why is it that you're criticizing Ward for fighting a drained Chad Dawson who deliberately said that I will go down to 168 to fight Andre Ward, while you didn't criticize Pacquiao for fighting all these guys at catchweights? Double standard. Let's continue. And yet you never explained it when I've been questioning on that before.
Knocked out in that fight and then his next fight by Stevenson, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who...
Yeah, but guess what? Credit to Ward because he ruined Dawson. He did what he had to do, okay? Just like Rigondeaux did to Donaire. He ruined Donaire. But in return, what did he get? He got blackballed. But everything he does was his fault. Why those fights didn't get made. Rigondeaux, right? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's continue.
You know, you guys should hate and revile because he doesn't do what you want everyone to do, which has become undisputed.
And as I said, we've all criticized him. Most of us are now going after him, given the fact that he should not be taking the Tony Bellew fight. Yes. Some guys say, yeah, you know what? You can take a one-off fight with Tony Bellew. That's cool. But come back down to 175 to fight for the undisputed title. Okay? Or if you decide to participate in the World Boxing Series, which is a great series, by the way, by the cruiserweights, which has also happened at super middleweight, do that as well. You could do either or. But I prefer, most of us prefer, that you take the undisputed fight with freaking Adonis Stevenson. Okay? We've been very consistent about that. Are you watching the videos? Apparently you're not, so let's continue.
Push for it. This guy's had 2 opportunities to become an undisputed champion. One at 168.
Yeah, which we criticized him for. I did. So, I mean, come on. Are you going to neglect that fact? Come on, let's continue. That fact.
And he has done everything not to do what you want him to do.
Yeah, we criticized him for that.
The collective view is the only thing that really matters in sports. The thing that you guys are pushing so much when it comes to Terrence Crawford, but you ignored completely almost when it came to Golovkin.
No, we didn't.
Kovalev.
No, and as I said in the Kovalev situation, first of all, we went after Kovalev for ducking that first bid, okay? Twice. You didn't make a video about that. You didn't dare to comment on that situation because you still want people to believe, your subscribers, that Stevenson was the ultimate ducker. Even though he ducked the first fight, which he did. But he didn't duck the second time around when he asked for the fight to be done. So first bid was called twice and Kovalev pulled out of it. You didn't dare to criticize Kovalev for that, right? Where are your comments on that? Where is your videos on that? Oops, you don't have it. Why? Because the more lies you tell about the Kovalev and Stevens situation, the more people are going to believe you, just like you do in every video that you do. A Rupert Murdoch move, by, if you ask me, when he does with News Corp, with his publications. But let's continue.
Because why? You didn't want those guys to have that.
No, we did. We asked for it. We made videos about it, okay? We made, either videos, we made even comments about it. Okay, I did, particularly with Golovkin. I made a video that I was disappointed that he passed on the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Okay, but again, out of sympathy for Golovkin, I had I actually played devil's advocate because you have to understand that Golovkin has had a very tough amateur career. He's had over 400 fights, 450 of them, as you could say. He's had a pretty tough pro career if you think about it, even though despite the fact that he's fought overmatched opposition, but he was getting hit a lot in those fights. Fights that he shouldn't be getting hit at, okay? He was getting hit against Kell Brook. He was getting hit against Kasi Uma, who's washed up guy. He was getting hit in that fight. He was getting hurt, caught with shots against overmatched opponents, as I mentioned again. So, yeah, the dude's been getting hurt in all his damn pro fights, even though he's been getting, even though he's fought subpar opposition. So, at his point of his career, he feels that, I don't have much time left. I'm getting older. I need to cash out with this fight. That's what he's thinking about right now, as he stated. So I can see where he's coming from in that situation, but at the same time, I was very disappointed. I put out a video about it that he's not going for an undisputed unification bout. So Blood, I think Blood did the same thing as well. So let's continue.
When I was talking about how excellent it would be for GGG to become undisputed and to pass Bernard Hopkins' record of title defenses.
Really? Then why didn't you criticize him for passing up with Billy Joe Saunders fight? I didn't see the videos that you did on that. You didn't make any statements about that. Whatever. Line. Let's continue.
Right? And how that would be a historical fucking feat and would totally push him towards being a Hall of Fame fighter.
Well, let's see. Let's let you continue.
Blood and a bunch of you guys came out with excuses and criticisms to that.
Well, it's actually legit because, as Blood pointed out, and I pointed out, that Golovkin hasn't been a real WBA champion until Felix Sturm had vacated his belt. He moved up to 168. At that time, as I mentioned again, Golovkin had 10 defenses when he was a regular and interim champion, meaning he was not the legitimately recognized WBA champion. Okay, he was a second-tier holder. All right, so those title defenses are meaningless. Okay, especially against overmatched opposition that he fought when he was holding that title. Okay, it's not until he fought Marco Antonio Rubio when he was elevated to be the super champion, which he was gifted a belt. Okay, just like he was gifted the WBC belt. All right, so that right there will remain as a question mark to Golovkin run as a middleweight. So since you don't like the fact, since you said that I'm just being honest, you have a problem with people telling the truth. Well, we're telling the truth right there in that situation, and you have a problem with people bringing up that very valid, legitimate point. So that right there will give you minuses, as opposed to trying to compare and contrast to Hopkins' run as a middleweight, where he actually won all his titles in the ring, as opposed to Marvin Hagler. So those factors right there, where Golovkin was gifted 2 belts, fall short. Although he actually had only 8 successful title defenses in reality, will fall short than what those guys have done. So, yeah, you can spin it all you want to, but those are the facts. Let's continue.
Right? Oh, middleweight's weak. Oh, he didn't really get those divisions as a unified champion.
No, he didn't.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't.
This is what you guys did.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to give fucking Crawford credit for being undisputed, beating fucking Indongo.
Yeah, but here's the difference. He's actually fighting for those titles in the ring. Golovkin didn't get those other 2 titles in the ring. He only got 1 title in the ring. That's a major difference. I don't understand. I don't know if you actually. Again, you lack that simple understanding and simple logic. So let's continue.
But you didn't want to give Golovkin credit for beating the guys he beat. Oh, he was gifted to them.
Yeah, he was gifted 2 of the belts, but I did give him credit for Daniel Gill. I did give him credit for David Lemieux. I did give him credit for Danny Jacobs, even though many people felt he lost that fight. But hey, is a W win and call him on his record? It is what it is. Danny Jacobs is a good fight. By the way, again, you predicted that Danny Jacobs was going to get knocked out. Another prediction that you got wrong. I have to keep bringing that up just to throw it in your face, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, I've given him credit for some of his wins, and so has the other guys. We've given him credit for some of his wins. And, you know, Dominic Wade, it was his mandatory. Yes, even though I did feel that Dominic Wade should have been the mandatory challenger. But, hey, if he didn't fight him, he was going to get stripped. So, we got to give Golovkin credit for that, right? Of course. No problem with that. So, let's continue.
Belts, he didn't even have to win them in the ring.
We didn't.
You know, this is the kind of bullshit you guys perpetuate consistently.
All right, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's vice versa this situation. If Terrence Crawford or Andre Ward was gifted 2 belts, right? If they were awarded 2 belts without fighting for it in the ring, would you give them credit as a legitimate champion? No, you would not, and you know that. You would criticize them just like we're criticizing Golovkin for that situation. Yes, it's not Golovkin's fault, but at the same time, you cannot give him credit for something, you know, give him credit for being gifted 2 titles opposed to other great middleweights before him who actually won titles in the ring. So that's a very, very legitimate argument that we can debate regarding his resume. Now, again, you don't like the truth. You don't like to hear it. That's your prerogative. That's your goddamn problem. But those are the facts. You have to deal with it. Face it.
And now that he passed on that fight, which came right after a very tough fight with Jacobs.
Right.
Just before a huge super fight, the biggest fight in boxing this year. That's the reality, and you guys don't want to talk about it because...
Actually, I would disagree with you that. The biggest fight of this year was Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. So, and we all know that fight sold over 90,000 in Wembley Stadium, and that was a damn good fight. In my opinion, I think a consensus would agree that that will be the fight of the year. Now, Ward Kovalev 2, that was a good fight as well. That would probably fall number 2. So, obviously, Golovkin and Canelo will have a tough task of topping Klitschko and Joshua, which you failed to mention. They'll have a very tough time topping that fight. Now, as far as Ward Kovalev this year, that's a possibility. It could potentially top that fight. But to say that this is the biggest fight of the year between Golovkin and Canelo, no, it's not. The biggest fight, we could all agree on what that happened in April, was Klitschko and Joshua. That's the biggest fight. So if you deny that, then you're not being honest. You're being in denial again if you don't believe that. Let's continue.
Are fucking pushing this whole negative thing against Golden Boy based on racist emails.
Yeah.
So you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? I mean, if let's say if Al Heyman was in that situation when he was chastising Oscar De La Hoya, calling him, you know, one of his associates calling him derogatory names, right? You jump all over that as well because again, you centered your entire channel platform on racism and tribalism in boxing. That's what you've done. So now you're getting upset that when the LDBC members are going after Golden Boy for their situation with racism, you have a problem with it. So that's a complete double standard on your part, once again.
I want to perpetuate.
Hold on.
Any positivity towards the Golovkin-Canelo fight?
First of all, no one's injecting any negativity on that fight at all. I don't know where you're getting this idea from. Okay, the only thing people are saying is that people believe it's not as significant as the Crawford and Indongo fight. That's all people are saying, and it's a legitimate argument. We're not saying it's a bad fight; it's a good fight. The only thing is that there's no undisputed championship on the line in that fight. Okay, yes, there's titles on the line there, but what the Crawford and Indongo doing, which is far more significant in my opinion, in everyone's opinion, everyone agrees, and everyone agrees that the undisputed championship should supersede anything else in this situation, especially in the rarity that it is in this modern day boxing. So, excuse me. Again, the problem is that you have a problem with people who's propagating that fight over the Canelo Golovkin fight. This is the reason why you're very upset. You're throwing all these angry tirades in multiple videos. All right. So again, your hell bent of trying to discredit that fight as much as possible, so that way either that both Golovkin and Canelo will have more prestige, and two, that Lomachenko Marriaga fight will have more prestige over Crawford and Indongo, which is stupid and insanity. It's stupid. But anyways, let's continue.
A fight that every fucking boxing fan, every media outlet, everybody affiliated with boxing knows is the biggest fight in 2017.
No, again, you're wrong. Everybody knows, every media outlet knows that Klitschko and Joshua is the biggest fight of the year. Canelo and Golovkin is not going to top that. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. I'm just being honest. I mean, it depends on the outcome of the fight, but all I know is that no. But the only thing it does have a chance of doing is going to top Ward Kovalev too. I believe that it has potential of doing that, but not Joshua Klitschko. No. But let's continue.
Without a doubt. Except you guys who are pushing this bullshit fucking crap about Terrence Crawford and Indongo being the biggest fight in the world.
Again, if you have a problem with that, then you don't have to go all gun ho and be immature about it like a little brat. I mean, goddamn it, it's like you're a 50-year-old child. You're a 50-year-old with a 10-year-old brain. Again, like I said, it's all that alcohol you're drinking that's making you behave this way. Anyways, let's continue.
Oh my God, you guys are fucking so see-through with your agenda.
Yeah.
With your bullshit narratives.
Yeah, well, you're a king of bullshit narratives, as I initially stated in this video. But let's continue.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like placing Lomachenko pound for pound #1 over Andre Ward, although he has a loss and he only has less than 10 pro fights. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, let's continue.
And then you just continue to fucking bring me into it. Keep mentioning me, and I'll just keep fucking pumping out videos showing what fucking tools all of you guys are.
Yeah.
And how big hypocrites you are.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the same fucking thing. And now you're bothered by it because you don't like it when people harass you, but you wanted to see fit to go ahead and harass other people. So, again, I'll get to that later.
On how you fucking say one thing with one fighter and then contradict yourself towards another.
No, I haven't, but you have done it consistently, and I called you out on it many times, and you don't like when I do that.
Consistently. Right? The biggest fight in boxing this year.
No, it's not.
Without a doubt.
It's one of the biggest fights this year, no doubt about it, but it's not the biggest. Let's continue.
Is Golovkin Canelo. Without a doubt.
It is a doubt. You're lying.
No matter how many videos you want to put out, praise.
I guarantee you this: if I put up a video, when I take a survey, when people, if I ask a simple question, let's say I pose a question, I may do this. By anyone's opinion, who thinks is the biggest fight of the year? Klitschko versus Joshua, or Canelo versus GGG, Gennady Golovkin? I guarantee you that a majority would say that Klitschko versus Joshua is the biggest fight of this year. Guarantee they will. But again, for some reason you don't mention that fight. I wonder why.
Indongo, how many videos you want to put out talking about, oh, undisputed, oh my God, historical significance.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the winner of this potentially becomes pound for pound #1 in
Yeah.
the world.
So what?
It's all a bunch of fucking smoke and mirrors.
No, it's not.
And
You just don't like it.
That has half a brain and isn't fucking parroting fucking your propaganda sees that.
Half a brain. A guy who says that Miguel Marriaga, who's a better fighter than Julius Indongo. Yeah, okay, that's called half a brain. A guy who said that Dominic Wade would be a suitable opponent for Gennady Golovkin. Half a brain. A guy who said that David Lemieux versus Gennady Golovkin was going to supersede over 1 million buys on Golovkin's first pay-per-view. Half a brain. GPG was going to take over boxing. Yeah, I remember that comment in one of the hangouts you did with Precise Presenter and this other guy named No Name Boxing TV. Yeah, I remember that comment. I actually watched that hangout and you said that, huh? Remember that comment? Huh? Is Golovkin take over boxing? I don't see that. Talk about half of a brain comment right there.
That's the fact. Regardless of people agreeing with me that Marriaga is better than Indongo, that is irrelevant.
Okay.
That's just...
Yeah, the people that do agree with you are the goddamn Ku Klux Klan members in your comment section, okay? Even those who support you with a brain like Red Fox, he disagree with you. He's even arguing with you with my points that, that how the hell can you put a guy over somebody else who hasn't done what the other guy has done? That makes no fucking sense. again, it goes to my question about the other two fighters that you're going to bring up in this video. So let's get to that.
My belief. You don't need to believe me, and I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, exactly. Your belief doesn't translate to facts.
4 videos trying to disprove it, even though you didn't put out one video that actually could do it.
I did, dummy. I did. You fucking stupid. In fact, I'll go ahead and put a link to that video so you can take a look at it for yourself, since you lack that understanding. So I did disprove it, just like Red Fox disapproved it many times in the comment section with you. So I know those comments. I see those comments coming in. So let's go ahead and continue.
Because you can't talk about Indongo beating any top level 140 fighters.
Yes, he did. He beat Ricky Burns. He beat Edward Tryanoski.
Right? You admitted it yourself.
No, I just said that they're not considered elite fighters. Even though they're not elite fighters, they are top of their division, okay? Those guys, you can't take that away from them. Indongo beat them while he was an underdog. So that's what you're trying to do, okay? So they're top of their division. That's easy. It's also fair to say that Lomachenko is the only elite fighter in his division. That's an honest fact, okay? So let's continue.
And then you have to talk about Clooney and Marriaga.
No,
or what's his face?
Mayorga.
As if that had anything to do with the conversation that was...
It does, because first of all, you put out the bullshit narrative that, oh, Miguel Marriaga is a better fighter than Julius Indongo because he was in 2 bigger fights than Julius Indongo. Okay, so all I asked was a simple question. So if, based off your criteria, would you also say that Ricardo Mayorga and Jerry Cooney are better fighters than Vladimir Klitschko? Because those guys were fought better opponents than Vladimir Klitschko, and they lost against those opponents. So is that what you're saying? And you're refusing to answer that question. It's a simple question. It's a yes or no answer. Just answer the question, then we'll move on. But if you're not going to answer the question, then you're being very evasive, because you know damn well that you put out a stupid ass argument that you're trying to run away from, and that you're trying to get your stupid ass commenters to agree with you on. But those who some rationales like Red Fox or Fox Strikes or disagree with you on it, you having a problem with it. So that's the reason why you put out these succession of videos. Let's continue.
Started when I made a statement saying that Marriaga was a better opponent than Indongo. I stand by that. I think it's totally true, and I think
Yeah, you think it's true, but it's not fact.
I will be proven correct when both of those fights happen. Right?
Wait a minute. So you're saying you'll be proven correct when those fights happen, but you're not sure based off the fact that you just made a statement that you thought you stand by. So basically, you're not sure at all, because based off what you said there, you don't really believe that. You're only saying that just to spread propaganda against Indongo and Crawford. That's what your ultimate goal is. See, I read through you very, very well. Very well. And you can't stand that. And that's the reason why you despise me. Because I've gotten to your head. And you cannot stand me. You're so obsessed with me. You're obsessed with other channels. Like Dream Chaser and K Black just recently. So you just can't stop talking about us. So again, at the end of this video, I'm going to explain why I keep coming after you, just like you're going after them and us. Or coming after us, I should say. So let's continue.
Continue to say that I'm wrong.
You are.
And twist it to act like I'm hating on the Canelo fight.
I'm not twisting it. I'm telling the truth.
Indongo fight. How am I hating when I'm just saying that Marriaga is a better opponent than Indongo?
Well, first of all I said is that, well, you're wrong, and I laughed at it, and you just didn't like it. So what did you do? You decided to go ahead and smear Indongo the best way you can. Simple.
That's my belief. I'm not crapping on the fight.
Yes, you are.
I'm happy for both of those fights. All 3 fights I've praised from Top Rank and ESPN. The Manny Pacquiao Horn fight, praised. Worked out perfect. Great fight. You know, my man lost, but doesn't matter. You know, it's a huge fight for boxing, and it has great repercussions. Was there negative attached? Yes, but controversy sells, and basically, when stuff is controversial, it becomes a bigger news story than boxing. It becomes a sports story. It becomes
blah 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 blah.
It's not a big deal.
Blah blah blah.
With Lomachenko Marriaga, Lomachenko's had 9 fights.
Yes.
He needs some fights to help sell himself, to help build a brand.
Help build a brand. Why not the Rigondeaux fight? Rigondeaux is actually one of the best pound for pound best fighters in the world. Oh, that's asinine. That's ridiculous because Rigondeaux fights two weight classes below him. Well, as I initially stated, well, actually, I probably didn't cover this. The Rigondeaux and Lomachenko fight was talked about for years now, for the last few years. Rigondeaux fighting at 122, Lomachenko at that point fighting at 126. Of course, Rigondeaux turned down the first offer because he didn't like the terms that were stipulated. Okay, so Lomachenko took his ass up to 130. Now that the fight is still being talked about by both sides, Lomachenko team comes out and said that, well, you know what? If you're going to fight us or fight me, or Lomachenko in other words, you're going to have to come up to 130. Rigondeaux says, okay, you know what? I'm trying to meet halfway with you, but okay, if you insist on me coming up to 130 to fight you, fine. I'll do it. Let's make it happen. So what does Lomachenko and his team do? They say, oh, you know what? We don't make the fights. We don't make all the call-outs. You got to talk to Bob Arum. Classic duck right there. So the reason why you don't want that fight, because as I initially stated, is that you're afraid that Rigondeaux is going to ruin Lomachenko like he ruined your guy Donaire. That's what you're afraid of. And that's what Bob Arum is afraid of. And that's what Egis Clemens is afraid of as well. Because they don't want to put Lomachenko in a situation that it would potentially ruin his draw power if he loses that fight. Because that's the same shit happened to Donaire. And that's what you're afraid of. Okay? So let's be honest about that. Because you don't believe that Lomachenko can win that fight.
So that somebody actually wants to pay to watch him fight fucking Rigo.
Why not? Like I said, that'd be a good fight. It'll be a damn good fight. But you can dismiss it all you want to. It'll be a very good fight. And don't say it's going to be boring, all that stuff because of Rigo's style. As I mentioned, style makes fights, okay? If Lomachenko, who's a volume puncher, who constantly boxes in angles, he can make a fight out of himself. But the problem is if you make Rigondeaux fight, adapt to your style and make him fight in a way, that he started throwing unloads on the shots, he's a very dangerous fighter, and you know that. So let's continue.
Which is stylistically not a fight anybody that is a casual boxing fan would be interested in watching.
Really? I mean, that's what they... I remember when others made that same argument against Donaire and Rigondeaux. A lot of people thought that was going to be a boring fight, but it turned out to be a very good fight. Again, styles make fights.
Hardcore is, of course, because of the significance, not based on the style. And then Crawford Indongo. It's a great fight to build up Crawford, and I'll continue to say that. I have no problem saying that. And I think it's excellent that Crawford is going to become the only, at this time, undisputed male boxer in the world. But after the Canelo fucking GGG fight, we could very soon see a number 2 undisputed fighter. And it'll be interesting to see. Really?
How do you know that they're going one of them is going to fight Billy Joe Saunders if he can get past Willie Monroe Jr.? So that would be an interesting fight. If Willie Monroe Jr. wins that fight, I'm pulling for him. He becomes the WBO champion. If Golovkin somehow pulls out against Canelo, I don't think that Willie Monroe Jr. is going to take that fight. However, you forget to mention that Golovkin, if he does win, Canelo has an immediate rematch clause. And sadly, Golovkin doesn't have a rematch clause if he loses this fight. So what does that tell you? So there are no guarantees. So you're pretty much saying that whoever wins the Canelo and Golovkin fight becomes undisputed. You're forgetting the fact that there's one belt out there, that's the WBO title, which is not on the line.
Then, some of the bullshit coming from this collective you. Right?
Collective you. You don't make any goddamn sense.
Any reason to promote one particular fight to discredit another. Because that's what you're doing.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're discrediting Crawford and Indongo to propagate Canelo and Golovkin. That's what you're doing. All right.
You don't see any videos talking about Canelo and GGG and what a great fight it is.
Oh, there's plenty of videos about it. What are you talking about? Okay, the only thing you're upset about is that the Crawford and Indongo fight is getting more attention than that one. That's why you're pissed off. That's the bottom line. So what you're trying to do, you're trying to derail that momentum as much as you can. That publicity, I should say. So, yeah.
I think it is. How it's the biggest fight of 2017. It's a fight people have been waiting over 2 years for. Unlike the Indongo-Crawford fight. 2 years ago, nobody even knew Indongo existed.
Exactly. We all didn't know. And it's very remarkable for what he was able to do in 6 months. So, it kind of reminds me of Ricardo Mayorga. Now, since he was brought up in the discussion, Ricardo Mayorga was an unknown guy who beat Andrew Lewis, took his title. He was an underdog in that fight, and he went to an underdog. He went to a several months later or a few months later, He went to a fight against Vernon Forrest, a fight that nobody thought he could win. He knocked out Vernon Forrest. Hey, credit to Marriaga. He was the only guy to knock out Vernon Forrest. God rest his soul. Both were Vernon Forrest and Andrew Lewis, and beat him in a rematch. And then within a year, he was in an undisputed championship fight against, actually over a year, I should say. Over a 1 year stretch, he was in an undisputed championship fight against Corey Spades. So, yeah, there are situations where you have a guy that comes out of nowhere as an unknown, excel to win title fights back to back in a situation. He gets all the publicity. Ricardo Marriaga certainly did. So why not for Julius Indongo? Why are you upset about that?
That's a reality. 2 years ago, people knew who Marriaga was.
Yeah, well, okay, as I was saying, now the problem with your argument that when you just said that, which is pretty flawed right there, you said that 2 years ago people knew who Marriaga is, but not Indongo. Well, first of all, nobody didn't know about Marriaga until the announcement of him fighting Nicholas Walters came about. Yeah, now the only difference is that not only that people didn't know who the guy was, he didn't win that fight. He lost that fight in a very convincing fashion. As opposed to Indongo, he beat Tryanovsky, knocked him out in a very impressive fashion, something that nobody saw coming in 40 seconds in the first round against a guy who was a devastating puncher at light welterweight, where many people again felt that he was to be the boogeyman of Terrence Crawford or the boogeyman of that division, right? Knocked him out while he was a 7-1 underdog, capitalized on it, become a belt holder in an IBO and a minor belt holder as well. And you say that Marriaga fighting Nicholas Walters, even though he lost that fight, got knocked down in that fight, is more impressive than Indongo knocking out Edward Tryanovsky and capturing a title from him and a minor belt while he was an underdog? That is stupid talk. That is a stupid analysis right there. Okay? Now, let me get to the point here why I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? The reason why I'm coming after you, because I see that I've broken you mentally. And I know I did that a long time ago after that hangout that you were embarrassed and humiliated with me and the librarian, right? Obviously, you couldn't get over that. So, my whole purpose was to harass you and come after your contradictions as much as I can with every video response, is because I want to see you complain and get upset about constantly being harassed, just like you constantly do with me and the other channels in the LDBC. Okay, so now you see how it feels like to be harassed constantly, and you whine and complain like a little bitch. And yet you get upset and you mock other people when they complain about you harassing them. So now you see what the treatment is like. Now, to add insult to injury, I'm going to do something that I've been putting off for a long while now. And I know the boxing librarian is going to be very happy when I say this. I'm going to put out a resume breakdown between Gennady Golovkin versus Charlie Burley. And I'm going to destroy Golovkin's resume so badly that you're going to fucking cry. I don't give a damn about it, but I'm going to do it because I think it's worth needed to be done. So you can take it as it is. But that breakdown's coming up later today. Now, if you cry about it, tough shit. But the fact is that I got you where I want you, and that look and that act of desperation and frustration and being erratic the way you are is the exact look that I want to see. So, and as I said, if you're going to continue to harass the LDBC, if you're going to continue to harass me, then I'm going to continue to come after you. That's just the way it is. Okay? So, tough luck. Again, I'm going to ask you one more time before I close out this video. It's a simple yes or no answer. Based off your stupid criteria, would you say that Ricardo Mayorga and Jerry Cooney are better fighters than Vladimir Klitschko? Yes or no? Based off your criteria. It's a simple yes or no answer. Okay? I'll be waiting for your response. And again, look out for that Golovkin destruction resume breakdown. Charlie Burley versus Gennady Golovkin and the destruction of Gennady Golovkin's resume. It's coming today, so look out for it. Peace.